guys, it's Meridy here with the March 2021 Not Just for Boys Page Kit instructions, and I want to go through what's in your page kit before we start. You should have one P13 sticker sheet, one piece of P13 paper called Soulmate number 7, that's what's on the back, one piece of the Rust Double Dot by Bo Bunny, one piece of cream puff cardstock, one cut title in black that says Wonderful You, and 3 pieces of this 49 Market Vintage Artistry Wedgwood Breeze paper, and it's blue on the back. So that's what you should have. And the first thing you're going to do, these are going to represent my pictures. I have 5 4x6 portrait orientation photos on my layout. I'll put those up to the side, and the first thing that you're going to want to do is on your instructions you're going to see the exact cutting guides that you need to cut your papers. So you're going to start with that, cutting your papers exactly to the measurements that it states on your cutting guides, on your instructions. Okay, once you have all of your papers cut to the size that you need them, the next thing that we're going to do is tear the edges of some of these papers. So in your instructions, it will tell you which papers you want to tear the edge off of. And to tear the edge, all you do is you're going to show this white core inside as you're tearing. So you want to tear up towards you. So hold the polka dotted side of the paper up and tear towards you. So, and you just want to do little tiny strips, how I'm doing little pieces at a time, because if you just tear the whole thing, it might tear across the whole page. So to have the most control, I keep my hand pretty close, my fingers pretty close by what I'm doing. So that way, the white core of this paper shows on the tear. So there's a few pieces that you tear the edges, and they're all lined out in your instructions for you. And you just, again, just little tiny tears across. Okay. So those, and then you're going to tear some of these other ones as well. I'm going to put these pages, the pieces that we don't need for this layout, off to the side so they're not in the way. Let's see. And always tear up towards you, and that will make, on this paper, it doesn't matter so much because it's the same color all the way through, but it does look different on the bottom side. So I want it to look the same. So tear up towards me. And you're gonna do both sides of this paper right here, both long sides of this piece. And once you've done both sides of this piece, I'm going to cut it in half. So you've got 2 pieces there. Okie doke. And the next thing, oh, we have to do this one too. Okay, the next thing that you're going to want to do is prep your photos so you can mat them. And what I did on my layout so that my photos kind of popped off the mat is I distressed the edges of all of my pictures, and I just used a nail file and just filed the edges. You can probably use, I would think, a little piece of sandpaper to do this. You can also use a distressing tool, like Tim Holtz made a little distressing tool that you run down the sides of your pictures. But I just used a nail file because that's what I had. And I did this to all of my pictures. And I'm gonna show you what it does here in just a second. So I've only done 2 edges of this photo, but I just wanna show you how it pops off the blue matting. So you can see how the white, it's showing a little bit of white on the edges there, and this edge I haven't done yet. So it just kind of makes your photo pop a little bit. So I distressed all 4 edges of all of the pictures that I used on my layout. I know I'm not using this particular picture in this video, but I just grabbed a picture that I could distress to show you what I did. And then it just kind of pops a little off the mat. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do to all of your photos first. Then once you have all of your photos distressed, you're going to mat them on this blue paper. I didn't tell you what size to cut this paper because some of you might be working with different size photos or photos that are cropped down a little, but I used 4x6 photos and I cropped the photos down 1/4 inch on 2 sides, so they were actually 5 3/4 by 3 3/4, so they will fit nicely on the photo mats. So that's all I'm doing right now, is just cutting and matting my photos. And these mats are 4 inches by 6 inches because, like I said, the photos are just a tad smaller than 4x6 because I trimmed my photos a little that I made. So let's get those adhered. So once you get all of your photos adhered, we're going to start working on the left-hand side of this layout first. So the left-hand side of this layout uses 1 sheet of this and your 3 matted photos and the cream color paper that you tore and the rust color paper that you tore. And I'm just gonna start adhering things down. I put the rust color down here first. I left a little gap so it comes a little higher up. And then I will put this cream color paper right up against it. And I don't want this cream color paper to be super huge on the bottom. I don't want it, so I kind of put it, I'll show you here. I kind of put it off the edge and then I'm just gonna trim that off. So it's not so thick across the bottom of my page. It's just a thin strip of white down there, or cream. And when I matted my pictures, I matted the 2 on the sides just straight to my page. Let's see, like that. And I kind of angled them a little. You can put them straight if you want, it doesn't matter. I just angled mine a little. And then this 3rd picture, I popped up on adhesive, on dimensional adhesive, because I just wanted to add a little dimension here. So I used dimensional tape for this middle picture. You don't have to do this, it's completely optional. It just adds a little layers. If you like your scrapbook pages to be flat and you don't like a lot of dimension, I would just skip this part and just adhere it straight to your page. But if you do like a little dimension, then I would do this. Okay, oops. Okay, so that's the pictures. And then the next thing that I would do, you're going to put the cut title on here that says Wonderful You, but I would start kind of getting some of the other things that are going to go on the page on here before adhering that title down to make sure it all fits. So this whole piece called Soulmate Number 7 has all kinds of great designs in it. For this side of the layout, I cut out this flower right here, this flower right here, these 2 feathers, this set of leaves, and this little, I don't know, it kind of looks like, I don't know, it's a little plant stem. So those are the, and then I also used this compass. So I fussy cut all of those things out of this page. Oh, and I also fussy cut this frame right here out of this page. So those are the pieces that I'm going to fussy cut right now. This flower, these two feathers, this flower, this set of leaves, this little floral sprig, and the compass. So I'm gonna go ahead and fussy cut all of those out right now, leaving a little white around the edges. And I'm gonna fast forward you through this part so you don't have to watch me fussy cutting for 5 minutes. Okay, so I finished fussy cutting all of those pieces, and I should add, if there was other pieces on here that fit the theme or the look of your layout better than the ones that I used, I would fussy cut them instead. I mean, there's a lot of cool images on here. So I would pick your favorites to use. You don't need to use the exact same ones that I used. Mine is just an example. So this compass, it just looks so stark white on this layout. Oops. I just realized I didn't finish fussy cutting this one. I'll do that while I'm talking. So that compass looks so stark white on that layout that I wanted to add a little color to it. And you could also ink the edges of the fussy cut pieces that you just cut if you wanted. I did not do that, but you could, to add a little color to them or tone down the white edges just a bit so it's not so stark white. But I liked the edges of mine white, but that compass was just so stark. So I pulled out one of my Tim Holtz Distressing inks. I believe it's called Weathered Wood. Yeah, Weathered Wood. And I took this compass and I just used my little sponge dauber to color it a little so it wasn't so stark white. It just tones it down a little. And then I even did the edges, so I got the edges nice and dark. I did the edges like this. It just blends in with the layout a little bit better to me, like this. See, it's not so blaring at you. Okay, so next you can start placing, let me move this out of the way. Next you can start placing the pieces that you fussy cut on your layout. I cut this label in half, or about in 1/3 and 2/3, like this. Oops. And I wedged half of it right up under here, and the other half goes up here. Oops, it's not gonna fit there. I gotta get rid of that. The other half right under there. Okay, and then I just started placing, I would lay everything down first before actually adhering anything. And I just started placing all my goodies on here. And I also used this sticker that says you and me, and I used it right down here, but I don't want to set the sticker down quite yet until I know that this is where I want everything on my layout. But I think it looks pretty good, so I am going to start adhering these things down. And I don't tape all the way up to the edges of each thing, so that way if I need to slide something underneath, like for instance, the sticker now is going to slide underneath here, but I didn't tape all the way to the edge of this label, so I can just slide it underneath and overlap it a little. So there's that. We're gonna put this title on in a minute. It's just kind of in my way down there. You can use liquid glue to glue these down too, like a glue pen might be kind of easy. I'm just using my ATG gun because it's here and handy, but you could also use like a finer tip glue pen to get these down. Let's see. I did pop up the very top piece on this cluster, which is this flower is going to be the top piece. I did pop that up on dimensional adhesive. So I'll show you how I did that. Oops. In just a second. go. And so yeah, I popped this flower up a little on dimensional adhesive just to add a little more layering to this page. I do that often when I'm making embellishment clusters, especially with floral or leaves or anything like that, because they lend themselves to layers. So here we go. So that's popped up. And then this one, since it's sitting on top of my picture that is popped up, I need to pop up the other side of this because my picture is already taller than the rest. And since it overlaps the two, I need to make it just as tall. Oops, see, I got a little over the edge there. Okay. There we go. And then my title that says Wonderful You, I adhered it down using my Nuvo Smooth Precision glue pen. I'm gonna grab a little scrap to glue on here so I don't get glue on my layout. And I just put dots because it's such a thin, fine cut that it is dots. Just add dots around it so I don't drag the glue pen over it and tear it. I also have used the Zig fine, it's a Zig brand, it's like a blue glue stick and it has a little fine, or a glue pen, and it has a little fine end like this too. Okay, so that's got all the glue on the back, and then just eyeball it here and adhere that down. Okay, so this then is the left-hand side of the layout, and now we'll work on the right-hand side of the layout. So the pieces that you're going to need for the right-hand side of the layout are the other sheet of this paper, except we're gonna flip it upside down. And you're going to need 2 pictures that are matted already. You've already matted those. And then you've got these 2 pieces that you've torn the edge. And then you've got these 2 pieces that you tore the edge and then sliced the paper in half. So it looks as if these papers are all coming all the way down through your layout. Oops. It looks like it's one giant piece underneath, but really it's not. We just saved some paper, so now you have extra paper in your stash to mess with. So I am gonna glue down these papers before we start adding the embellishments. So let's see, we'll put this one about right here. I'm gonna move these out of our way for a minute. This one here. Okay. And then I'm gonna gently adhere the pictures down first, but I'm not gonna put the adhesive all the way to the bottom or the top of the picture, so I can slide these underneath exactly where I'd like them. So it's just a little adhesive right in the center of the pictures. And then we can slip these in right underneath. Just like that. And just like this. Okay, so the next step to this layout is going to be, again, fussy cutting some of these shapes, and I will tell you what I used, but again, use the ones that you like the best. If you like other pieces better than the ones I use the ones you like. So I used this frame up here, and I did cut the middle of it out as well. So I cut around the edge and out the middle. I used this sprig of leaves. I used this flower right here. I used this flower. I used both of these leaves. and this little weed thing again. Let's see, I used this frame and, oh, I used this larger flower right here, and then I used this little guy right here. So I think, oh, and this leaf and these leaves and this black leaf. Okay, so let me go over that again. I used this frame, these two black leaves, this flower, this black leaf, this sprig, these two feathers, this flower, this bunch of flowers, this guy right here, and this little flower, and this frame. So I'm gonna start cutting all of those, and I will come back when I have them all cut. Okay, so I've got everything cut, and this is what I did to this frame. I'm gonna cut it about 1/3 and 2/3, and this is how I got the middle out. Really simple. Okay, oops. Okay, so you've got all your pieces fussy cut, and this part, again, you're gonna wanna lay things out before you start adhering them down, most likely, so that you make sure it's how you want it. So I started with this frame in the top. Just tucked it under. And then I started placing the things that I wanted down there, how I wanted them. The feathers. And this. Okay, and then I also used one sticker up here from the sticker sheet. I used the You Are Awesome sticker, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick that down right now because I kind of can see where it goes. And then I'm gonna start at the back layer and start adhering things down because I kind of liked the way that was set up. I'll move these out of the way a little so I can get this in here. So I'm starting towards the bottom pieces. Oops. Just kind of wedging the other pieces in like how I like them. And then all of these so far, I'm adhering straight down to the paper. I'm not using any dimensional adhesive quite yet, but I do pop that very top piece, that larger sprig, the big one with all the flowers, this. I do pop that up on dimensional adhesive, but again, that's optional. You only have to do that if you want to. I just like doing it. So here, let's see. Now this is gonna go down there. And then I'll get some dimensional tape here and put it on the back. So it pops up. There's that little area. Okay, and then working down here, I've got the other half of this frame, and I've got this little frame tag thing. Like I said, I like to kind of position them before I adhere everything down. I've got two black leaves and a bigger flower and a smaller flower. And then I also used the sticker When You Love What You Have everything you need, but there's lots of other stickers to choose from on this that I didn't use. These are all leftover. So you could use any stickers that you want on these layouts, whatever matches your pictures the best. And you'll have lots of extra supplies left over to make other layouts. We even got quite a bit of paper left over. And I just started adhering all of these down, starting at the bottom then and moving up. Just want to get this tucked under. Doesn't want to tuck. I did my journaling on a typewriter on my sample layout that the picture is on the website, and it will be at the end of this video, the layout that I have that has my actual photographs. So that journaling is done on a typewriter and just cut into strips, but you could journal right on the page right here. It might not stick, it might not show up very well because this paper is so busy. So you might want to get journal on a separate piece of white paper. There's extra of this cream colored paper left that you didn't use on the layout. You could cut that into a square and journal on it and stick it down right here in place of where I have my journaling. If you even want to journal. Some people do not even like to journal, so then you don't have to worry about it. And I did pop this flower up on dimensional adhesive as well. So it's got a little depth there. And this side of your layout is done too. I did go back and put the date. I typed the date on a little piece of paper and I stuck it right here. You'll see it on the next pictures that are coming up. But this is the completed layouts, and if you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments or message me on Facebook. And I hope you liked putting this page together. I hope you share your creations so I can see what pictures you used in our Facebook group at Not Just for Boys Kit Club community group. We'll see you soon. Bye.